going live. We're almost there. Going live. You are now live. Rastafari King David, how you doing? Happy Sunday. Trying to do this every Sunday. Trying to get in the habit of doing broadcasts every Sunday, and it is a learning curve. Listen, last week. Oh, like, share, and subscribe. You know the drill. Last week I did a post for Mother's Day, and I went in on the mother goddess, on the feminine energy. I think that probably was one of the best lives I've done, since I've been doing lives, because it was like it was just flowing. It was easy, and I was adding music and all that into it. Got to be careful with the copyright. But long story short, it got flagged. They took my video down, so the video's not up from last week. Again, I was talking about the mother goddess and her energy. And after doing that piece, I was intending on presenting the Philae temple, which is in Kemet, aka Israel. And the Philae temple is supposed to bring back the mother goddess. Well, that was the goal and that was the intent. But of course, they got rid of the last video. So I got to do that video all over again and come up with a new presentation, which I'm doing today. I put music in it, did it wrong last time. I'm going to do it right this time, because what happens is when you're on networks that aren't yours, you have to follow the rules of the network that you are utilizing. I did not follow the rules of the network that I was on. And because I did not follow the rules of the network I was on, it got axed. It is what it is. You got to deal with the situation as it is. That said, we're going to try to make sure those mistakes don't happen again. Yeah, I think I'm doing it right this time. So today what I'm going to do is give you a word from the actual Osiris. That's Asar. From Kemet, aka Egypt. And you are rocking with Rastafari live. And you may have a question on what does it mean to be a Rasta? And what I want to do is answer some of those questions for you. But you also have to remember that when I'm speaking of Rasta, I'm referring to the pyramid complex in Egypt, in Cairo, where the 3 pyramids are. That's what I'm talking about when I say Rasta. So I'm giving you concepts and ideas to play with and philosophies, not necessarily a religion. That said, it was a concept of the Ma'at. But the Ma'at is balance. And it's not about just saying a word. It's about living that word. So when we're talking about Rastafari, we're not talking about a religion that you talk about. We're talking about philosophies and ways of living. That said, there's a such thing as the Ma'at. And there's 42 laws on ways of living. And if you follow the Ma'at, You are in line with the universe. I did a couple of posts on the Ma'at before. I'm going to go heavier into the Ma'at of the 42 laws of the Ma'at. But long story short, if you walk and live your life based on the Ma'at, you are in line with the universe. Meaning that your actions reflect positivity and unity with the universe. So originally in Kemet, aka Egypt, they followed the laws of Ma'at. That's why the civilization lasted so long. It wasn't a religion, it was a way of life. Everybody was expected to walk that way of life. So the trick is to know and understand and practice Ma'at, balance, those 42 laws. That said, the Ma'at degraded over centuries to the point where they didn't understand, they no longer understood what it meant to be in line with Ma'at. Another representation of the Ma'at is the feather. In this on my series, I'm giving symbolic examples, not literal examples. That means it's symbolizing. When you see the image, it symbolizes something else, an energy, a concept. So the feather represents the energy or the concept of Ma'at, and that is balance. So the Osiris myth, you got to grasp the Osiris myths and identify what it means to you, has an aspect in it of being judged. And in this process, your heart is weighed against a feather. You'll see that in a lot of iconography from Egypt, where on one side it's a feather, and then on the other side it's a heart. And they're saying they're wearing the feather against the heart. What that means is your heart represents who you are, who you be, and what you do, how you express yourself, your being. So they're comparing your being to the essence of Ma'at. And if you live your life in line with the Ma'at, then you pass. Just that easy. And it all comes from the Osiris myth. So you want to familiarize yourself with the Osiris myth. And I'm going to give you some words from Osiris just now. This is coming from the Book of Truth. It's the actual voice of Osiris. If you didn't get it, that's the original Rasta man. This Osiris came before the Christ, and on a couple of my videos, I'm informing you that Jesus, or the so-called Jesus, was practicing the Ma'at. But it's hard to tell from the Bible. But in John, it speaks of the resurrection a resurrection of Lazarus. That's a poor copy and a bad translation because Lazarus turns into El Azar. Azar, Azar is Asar, who is Osiris. So Jesus is making a reference to Osiris when he resurrects Lazar. So let me share with you the word from Osiris. I wish it to be known unto those who read this my book that the ways of the Most High are very simple and very orderly, and that mystery is the last thing that the all powerful Most High has brought into his scheme of works. Many, my son, will say, "Yeah, verily, but what about the divine mysteries?" My son, I bid you to say to these people this: the mysteries that you speak of are only mysteries to those that are uninitiated and who have still to go towards the appointed goal. Let it be known unto you that there are two sets of life on the earth. One is a set which has its descent from Adam, who is my father, and the other is that set of divine sparks which were awakened at the word of Yahweh. Before that, he had lent his ear unto the temptations of his inferior helper, who afterwards became the devil. One more time, I'm going to say that again. Let it be known to you that there are two sets of life on the world called earth. One is the set which has its descent from Adam, who is my father, and the other is the set of divine sparks which were awakened at the word of Yahweh before he had lent an ear unto the temptations of his inferior helper, who afterwards became the devil. The divine humans are direct descendants of Adam and volunteered in previous lifetimes to take on the mortal body that they might help those fallen men of earth to evolve from the state of depravity into which they had settled on an account of their leanings towards Satan. The statutes which are set here, set out through the hand of the Most High unto the nations, are orders given to divine humans who did so nobly, volunteer to help my father in the ages past. Yeah, that's from that's actually from Osiris out the book himself. I'm gonna see if I can make a little bit more available for you. But here he says that it appears as a mystery. And he's referring to people that are asking about the mystery, but what about the mystery? And he's making it clear that it's mysterious to those who haven't been initiated into the information. Again, If it's confusing and mysterious, most likely you haven't been introduced or initiated to the information. What that means is, in order for you to understand what you're reading, you have to have a pretext. You have to have some familiarity with some of the information before you take it on. Otherwise, you're gonna balls it up. And that's pretty much what we have in the form of the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments are a balls up of what Osiris shared with Moses. Again, the Ten Commandments are a bad copy of the information that Osiris gave Moses. Moses was one of the fathers of Jewishness. We're not gonna go into all that right now because I don't want to confuse you. I got other videos on where Jewishness came from and all of that. I'm gonna go heavy into that. But long story short, Moses created the Old Testament Bible, or that's what they say. And they also say that Moses was the first Jew or something like that. That's all wrong. All you have to do is read the paperwork, which is the Bible, and it says directly Moses was an Egyptian. An Egyptian is from Kemet. An Egyptian is a black man. So Osiris and Moses were black men. Let me share this with you. The laws of Moses, which I shall... Oh, this is coming from Osiris, Asar, Lazarus, Elazar, Jah Rastafari. Yah Rastafari. You can say it like that too. The laws of Moses, which I shall now set before you, my children, were given to him by me, Osiris, in order that he should have standard code of morality with which to rule the people over whom he had assumed command. I would also make one important thing clear unto you, that the Ten Commandments set down in the Bible are laws which have been drawn up from time to time until they have finally arrived in their present form, but they are not a copy of the original laws given to Moses by me, Osiris. The biblical story has a certain amount of truth in it, but it does not portray the exact happenings of the times in question. Having made these things clear unto you, I shall proceed to give you the translation of the original hieroglyphic text given to Moses by me. It is as follows. The word of Osiris came to me in a dream and commanded me to set down these laws for the governing of the people under me. And beheld, the voice spoke to me and said, command the people entrusted in your charge and say to them, abstain from taking the life of your fellow or anything which creeps on the face of the earth or that which swims in the depths of the ocean. Seek not to obtain that which does not belong to you, for he that casts the eye of envy on his neighbor with desire to obtain that which his neighbor has without his consent has committed the sin of covetousness. That was 1 and 2. Number 3, seek not to supplant your fellow with the desire to take his place, for who does this thing is guilty of deceit. 4, give honor to your earth father and your earth mother, that they have been privileged to be called to parenthood, for unless the command were of God, the cosmic force, they could not become the vessels of earthly birth. Okay. 5. Seek not to take a husband or a wife if the divine spark of love is not brightly burning. For I say to you that whoever does this is guilty of seeking the lust of the mortal body of shame and has walked in the ways of the devil. Wow. I got to hit a pause on that one because the original Ten Commandments didn't say that. I don't think it says that. You need to make sure you love your wife. You need to make sure you love your husband before you marry them. If love isn't the reason why you're getting married, you're serving the devil. Wow, that explains why so many divorces. But I'm keep it moving. Number 6, it says, "You shall not at any time have mortal union with your brother or your sister for the sole purpose of satisfying the lust of the mortal body of shame. For whoso does this is guilty of practicing the initiations of the devil." Okay. 7, never shall any among you seek mortal union with those that are from the animal kingdom. For I say to you, this is one of the greatest offenses that mortal man or woman can commit before the face of the cosmic spirit of the universe. Don't have sex with animals. I don't think that's in the original either, but hey, okay. Number 8, speak openly with your brother and your sister that your works may be as sacred oaths in the eyes of all men. Don't lie. Number 9, refrain from devastating practices of black magic, for by these things did those of the past perish. 10, confess your assaults. This is a good one. I like this one right here. Confess your faults to no man, but seek the temple of your own heart, which does dwell within each one of you. Speak with your God face to face, for he alone can pardon your offenses by giving you a happy and clear conscience with which to appear before men. That right there was really. I felt like that was really poignant when I first read that. Don't confess your faults to anybody. Confess your faults to the Most High. He's the one that's judging you. Number 11, help one another as you are helped by the universal creator. 12, abstain from the practice of unveiling the faults of others before the multitudes, for by so doing are you degrading them before themselves and before men. He who is faultless, let him proclaim it, and his soul will hear him. And recognizing the truth which is heard will reward him greatly. But if the lie has been spoken, then shall the sower gather in the harvest accordingly. Don't speak bad or ill on anybody's name, because we all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. Okay, we got number 13. It says, abstain from warring one with another. By so doing, you are leaning to the world, to the ways of the devil. And lastly, it says, honor all men as you would have them honor you. Wow, that's it's not 10 commandments, 14 commandments, and they don't sound like the commandments in the Bible that we got, but I'm setting you straight. This is the original. Those, my children, are the laws which were given by me to Moses, and I would bid you to ponder over them, that their meanings may be fully revealed to you. This is the Chronicles of Osiris. That's Osiris's voice himself. And here's the book of truth from Osiris as well. Osiris is the example that we need to follow, everybody. And if we could walk and move like Osiris, everything would be okay. He's the original Rasta. Yah Rastafari. Gonna be signing off just now. Hope you can appreciate what was shared with you. If you have some questions, feel free to add a comment at the bottom. If you disagree, I'm okay with that. If you agree, I'm okay with that as well. And feel free to make a comment, but anytime you make a comment, just be respectful of myself and yourself. And don't present yourself like an idiot. We're not having that. We're not dealing with idiots over here. If you're an idiot, move on to another channel. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. Rasta King David or Rastafari King David. Thanks for tuning in to your boy. See you next week. Gotta have a little bit more for you. And I'm missing the female goddess, man. They pulled that down. I'm so upset about that in my feelings. But hey, the show must go on. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Deuces.